our dailies. Okay, this is we're gonna. Canton's just gonna do some leads us on some quick trips. And no, so sad. CitizenCon 2950 has been canceled.
Yep.
I'm sure Solomon is the most. Well, actually, both of you guys are really depressed now because Star Citizen Con has been canceled. Citizen Con has been canceled.
I got super depressed about it, but I saw it a mile away.
Yeah. Now, that's a good point. Now, if you're watching, and you better be watching Coffee and RPGs on Solomon's SK's YouTube channel, you'll notice that there are a lot of games that have been delayed because of
so many.
Know what? The very thing that apparently YouTube does not want to talk about and will ban you for any discussion about, so we won't mention it.
Yep.
Okay, so a lot of games out there, too many to really notice. But Joe, if it's a game you're looking for and you're wondering what's happened, go check out their website. It's probably been delayed. Some of them, I think, are legit. Other ones are just giving an excuse because, hey, they weren't ready anyways.
That's true.
But the guy who used to do, I forget what he does directly, but there's a thing coming up called Summer Game Fest. It's from May to August of 2020. It's kind of virtual. Go sign up. There's a bunch of things they're going to be doing along the way to allow you to do virtually the same thing you would do if you went to a convention. This guy usually does the Video Game Awards, I think, at the end of the year. So that's kind of interesting.
Oh, wait, the same guy that was able to get himself in the Kojima game? That guy?
Maybe. Yeah, it might be the guy. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He's friends with the guy. Oh, by the way.
Yeah, he's friends with... Yeah,
he's... Everybody.
Oh, yeah. Toast, everyone.
Oh, sorry.
This is coffee, wink, wink.
Yeah, mine too.
Your show is currently called Coffee and RPGs. I told you, Alan, we're testing out something new, okay?
I like it.
The channel that we broadcast, our show will be on, is Coffee and RPG. We don't have a new logo for our actual show. I show the logo for Solomon's YouTube channel because we are a show using the Coffee and RPGs network.
Thanks, Dad. I'm working on it. I still got to get a new logo for the coffee mug that you see on the thumbnails because that's I didn't make that. It's somebody else's.
Okay.
And so yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I got to change.
It's in work.
Yeah, it's in the works.
And the last thing, this is a hat tip to Alan. I don't know how you look at this, by the way, but apparently Chronicles of Lyria, the game I kickstarted that was canceled, apparently they're saying it's still in development, even though it laid everybody off. The CEO said, you know, Alan, there are times when you should just keep your hand off the keyboard, okay? All right.
Alan, just come to my channel.
He changed the title of the stream, okay? So
just come to my
channel.
Now
we're gonna get banned from YouTube. We won't never make money. We'll never get a chance to see our influence spread. You know. We can have the discussion, Alan, at a different time after the end show. We do it at the after show. Anyways, that was the dailies. I did nothing else. So now we're going to do escort quests. Okay, we're going to escort you to safety because we have some information about several big games. One of them is New World. Okay, now mind you, New World is not releasing until August 25th, but they had an update to the developer blog. I thought was rather interesting. The whole idea of talking about wars, and I love what Solomon said on his show. Was they're making kind of like a comment that this is like unique to MMOs, and you're like, where have you been? Okay, some of this stuff's been around for a while, so I don't know where you're thinking this is unique, you know. But anyways, I don't know if you saw it, but so Jazia, what do you think about the latest that came out of New World?
I really like the direction that they're going in. However, I do get a kick out of some of the uniqueness. I'm going to put the bunny ears up here that they seem to want us to believe is unique. It does make me wonder how long they've been around because although I love the game and I'm really looking forward to playing it and I love everything that's came out so far, I can completely see where those ideas have came from. Now, mind you, I've been around since Meridian 59, which was mid-90s, late 90s, and EverQuest in late 90s, early 2000s, and World of Warcraft, and so on and so forth. I can see where they've taken the best of ideas from here and from here and here, and kind of combine them to make their own thing. Now, as far as the whole package, yeah, there's not really. I don't want to say there's nothing like it, but that's kind of true. That and it does seem to be. I was just talking about that on my stream just about an hour and a half ago, where someone asked me, what's so different about it, and that would make people want to go play it, and do I think it's the WoW killer and all that kind of stuff? And the answer is no. I believe that it is a different game, and it is attracting a different audience. Even in our company that we're involved with, which is what they call a guild in that game, is called a company. Most of those guys and gals are coming from battle royales and first-person shooters. So it is attracting those kind of people more so than us three in here who are mainly MMO players. Although Kenneth and you play a lot of different genres. But I think that it is really telling that it's attracting people from outside of MMOs to come play an MMO. So I have to give them that. I have to give them that there is something unique that is attracting people from outside of that genre to come in and give it a try. And I do like what I'm seeing, that even though we even had it, you as a former Dark Age of Camelot player, you've experienced World versus World and Realm versus Realm and all that before, way long time ago, as have I. So we've been around that, but adding in that it's not just PCs, it's not just other players, but you also have the world is going to work against you. You're going to have invasions coming out of the game world itself to beat you down on top of other players. Yeah, that's kind of new. I don't think I've seen that before. And like I said, there is something that is driving those PvP-oriented people to the game in droves, it seems. Even the folks outside of our guild who I've talked to in general chat in the game. I know we're not supposed to say we're playing it, but devs don't seem to mind. The devs don't seem to mind when we mention it. They haven't said anything. Even the people that I've talked to, even on their forums, on their official forums, those people, like I said, 85% of them are coming from Fortnite and Call of Duty and Battlefield and Overwatch. It's really weird because any other game that I've beta or alpha tested in the past, MMO, has been they've all said, oh, I'm a WoW refugee, I'm an ESO refugee, I played Final Fantasy 14, or I used to play Everquest back in the day, stopped playing them, I didn't have time, I'm coming back. I've not seen that with this game. There's not that many people that are coming to New World from another MMO. They're coming from a totally different genre. So in that aspect, I would say they're doing something right and they're doing something unique. Now, again, I don't want to be too long-winded about it, but I did mention it on my stream as well. If anyone wants to go back and watch the vlog, it was like the last 30 minutes if you want to go watch that. But the one from today, where I talked about why there's that difference, and I think a lot of it has to do with most of us in the MMO world, we want a story, and we are more PvE. Even if we do PvP, a lot, we do crave that story. We love that theme park atmosphere of that you have expansions coming out every year or every 2 years that give you a new theme and give you a new story to play through. And you aren't really getting that with this game. This is very PvP oriented, although there is plenty to do PvE wise. I know for a fact, all that they've released so far with the dev blogs and everything are very PvP oriented, but you can see that there's going to be plenty for you to do outside of that, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. So anyway, just to wrap it all up, yeah, I can see the uniqueness there, and there's definitely a unique thing going on here with people that are totally outside of the genre wanting desperately to get into alpha. They're desperately cannot wait for the game to be released, and this is the first time I've seen that. And it's the first time that I've had friends and even my son, who is a battle royale only player on his Xbox right now. He's out there playing just behind this wall here behind me. He's playing Fortnite right now. Even he wants me to buy the game for him.
Cool.
This first time that I mean, I've tried to get him to play WoW for like 5 years now, and he won't play WoW with me. He won't play ESO with me, but he wants to play New World.
Well, that's why. So Shayless, once known as the Calvinist, made a comment about the fact that this, it appeals to MMOers, FPSers. It appeals to people who like doing the Sims, like building. It appeals to PvP, PvE. It appeals to a lot of people, and I don't mind people saying it's unique and new because they repackaged other stuff in a new formula. When you go do trademarks, I think when you go do trademarks for IP for even patents, if you can get a patent on things that are unique because it's new, even though you're combining other things in the past. So Solomon, what are your thoughts? I know you commented on your particular show. So what more do you got to say?
I think there might be a bit of truth to that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just more pessimistic, but I think the largest factor in the interest of this game is not because of the game itself, but it's because it has the name Amazon in it. I think people think of Amazon as a giant company that has hundreds, if not thousands, millions of dollars to shell out to make a game, and I think they're just curious, like what kind of game they could pump out with the resources or the seemingly endless resources that they have. And I mean, it might be true. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that David pointed out that I think there's some truth to it, but in my opinion, I think it's just more of a branding thing of Amazon, seeing what kind of game that they'll pump out, because they never made a game before. So this is going to be like a defining moment for them, and that's going to place them on the map of either being a really good studio, really bad studio, mediocre. Who knows? Maybe they'll be a contender. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why I kickstarted a lot of different games, because they advertise a uniqueness, an MMO experience that has some things that I wanted to see, like whether it's building, having your own house, or the fact that you don't have to worry about being the only you're brand new, and also in trying to get into conquering a land. It allows for a recharge, or even like the fact that for Camelot Unchained, because Mark Jacobs or RVR, just the name behind it. But yeah, obviously we're going to see how New World plays out. It was a good blog post and interesting information. All right, we're going to move on to WoW for a minute. Okay, I know all three of us will be playing WoW when it comes out. No dates yet. There's speculation it may still come out this year, but who knows? I thought it was interesting that was mentioned in regards to because everything that WoW has been putting out during this alpha stuff, they basically allowed for the NDA not to be there so people can talk about it all the time. And a lot of good stuff coming out. But the recent one I thought was interesting is they're trying to update the graphics, or release the idea of using ray tracing.
You're chasing
shadows. Right? So if you have shadows, if you have the right video card, then this will really show well. Solomon, I know you did talk about this also. I think you mentioned, or maybe you or somebody else mentioned that when comparing the two, it didn't look like it was a big difference. But
oh no,
it's interesting they're doing this.
Well, the only thing that they really showed was the what do you call it? The eye glow animation. That was the only thing they compared. As for the ray tracing itself, it's not out yet. It's just an option in the settings window.
Oh, yeah, not yet.
Yeah, so I don't know if the revamp of the eye glow was a part of the ray tracing technology. It might have been a separate thing. Oh, was it the same thing? Oh, okay.
It's not. No.
Yeah, so it's just I just wanted to cover it really quick, saying that World of Warcraft is possibly utilizing the technology. Who knows? Maybe they'll say, you know what, this isn't worth it. We're totally ditching this at launch. That's a possibility too. I hope not, because as I said in that episode myself, that I'm somewhat of a graphics snob, and I would like for them to keep as much technology that gives it that little extra oomph as possible, because we're talking about an aesthetic and for all intents and purposes a graphic engine that was built like over 10 years ago. So, yeah, I would like I would like for them to actually make the game look better. Now, I did see footage of World of Warcraft's what was the most recent expansion again?
For Azeroth, is the one out right now.
Yeah, that. So I think they actually, from the footage that I did see, they did a compare contrast of the footage or the game right now and when it was actually in vanilla, and they did seem to make incremental changes, improvements over the years. It's very I guess it's noticeable if you haven't played the game in a while, but yeah, so it's just like incremental steps. But this, I think the RTX technology, the ray tracing technology, will definitely make those the incremental steps, and then just make a huge leap. And I'm really excited about that.
Okay. So Jazia, what are your thoughts?
I love ray tracing. The RTX card is just a beautiful thing when it's being used. Unfortunately, there are not that many games out there that are using it or using it effectively. World of Warcraft is still running on I don't want to call it antiquated, but it's aging, and it's not aging well, I don't think. And as far as I know, they've done several things over the years to update it, but it's more of just patching things in here and there on top of the old engine. And I think they're kind of getting to the point where they really, I don't know, I'm not down there with them. It'd be nice to know if they're even thinking about it, but hopefully they're working on developing a new engine. Now, yes, I know how much work that takes, and I know how much money they would have to invest into having people develop a new engine. I'm very aware of that because, like Solomon, I am also a graphics snob and research that stuff and see what new technology is coming out all the time. And I'm also a big fan of the Unreal Engine, which, by the way, if y'all have never seen, there are several YouTube videos of what World of Warcraft would look like on the Unreal Engine, and it is beautiful. Definitely go check those out. As far as what we saw was data mined. So there are no images yet. It's not even implemented outside of their headquarters right now. Only their devs are seeing what it looks like at this point. It's just data mined. It ended up on Wowhead, I believe, and maybe a couple of other websites, I'm sure, by now. Everyone's got very excited. For one thing, the shadows in World of Warcraft have always been resource heavy. Most people either turn their shadows way down to super low or turn them off completely because they seem to just suck the life out of your graphics and your CPU, whichever one it's pulling from at the time, which is another issue with their engine, which we can get into some other time. It's a 30-minute conversation, how their engine runs off of actually both your CPU and your GPU, whether that's good or bad. We'll talk about some other time. We can put that on the agenda. But it is a step in the right direction. I definitely think shadows is something they need to tackle. But man, I'd love to see them integrate RTX technology into the game as a whole. I do actually like. This is going to go against a lot of people who watch our show because a lot of people are like, man, that game just looks horrible. It's so cartoony and it's 15 years old and the character models look horrible and da 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 da. And you know what? Yeah, it's got its own unique flair. It's got its cartoony look that it tried to adopt from, the original RTS games, Warcraft 1 through 3. And I understood that, and I kind of like it. It's got a little charm to it, and it's kind of one of those things where when you play the game, you understand, and everything kind of works together. But I do like what they've done with, as Solomon was getting to, the latest expansions have given it polish. It's been getting more and more polish with each expansion, and even Shadowlands is looking amazing. What they're doing with it, still keeping that same look, that same atmosphere, that same cartoony kind of feel to it, but again, the shadows, the lighting, uh, um, just the anti-aliasing has improved vastly, like you said, when you compare it to even the previous expansions, and especially if you go back to vanilla. My goodness, it looks terrible compared to what we have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm glad to see that, even though it's data mined, we have no idea. They're probably just testing it out and seeing if it
Right.
works out, and if it
Well,
does, they'll move on from there.
yeah.
Um,
I mean,
and
that's
I'm
the thing about. I
yeah.
mean, you said they have improved the models of the years. So they did.
Oh yeah.
Classic and today are not totally the same, right?
Mm-mm.
And I mean, again, I'm wondering what Blizzard's doing. Blizzard's doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, data mining is one thing, but
Right.
Blizzard's doing a lot of stuff and letting people know this stuff and get them excited about Shadowlands and showing that they're committed. They must have changed the way they did the model about actually just talking to the fans. I
I
know Godflesh just came and says, not WoW, but guess what? We are talking about WoW. So you came at the
just
right
to
time.
just to interject real quick on that what you just said. A lot of these leaks, bunny ears again, second time on the stream. They're not leaks. They're pushing it out there. This is a
Okay.
PR. This is PR. They are
Well,
pushing
good
this
for them.
stuff out there. They're saying, "Here you guys go. We're working on this. Hey, we're going to put ray tracing into the game because they know that's going to us gamers, dude, that's going to catch our ear real quick.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's going to reignite that interest. And they need to sell Shadowlands, man. It needs to do well, and pushing little things like that out, that they are still working on the game engine. They're working to make improvements on the graphics, which is a complaint from other people. Myself, I don't have really that much complaint. I would like to see it better, not necessarily more realistic, but a little bit. I don't know how to explain it, but definitely just a smoother looking game,
Yeah.
and definitely could run better as well. But just knowing that they're working on this stuff is going to put
Right.
them on the radar for people
Yep.
who maybe are thinking like I was, hey, that's an antiquated game. It's super old. It's 15 plus years old now. It's the
Yep.
graphics are blah, and they push that out there to Wowhead, and everybody perks back up and goes, "Whoa, wait, maybe I shouldn't give up on the game."
Yep. I mean, I know, like, I love the scenery of ESO. I was chatting with my son and a friend, and it was like, they're like, but the character creation isn't necessarily the same like Final Fantasy 14, but like, I don't really care. So, I mean, I know they love Final Fantasy 14 because of the graphics and even like Blue Protocol because, the shell shading coming in.
Well, because
I get it.
Mm.
That's
you can make a
why.
waifu in Final Fantasy.
Yep.
That's why.
Yep. I mean, they're cuter. If females are cuter, I guess in those games than ESO. So, but I like the music and the
Uh,
overall ambiance. So yeah, it's the thing about WoW. 15-year-old game, you better do something to keep it fresh.
yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Guild Wars 2, another game that's big out there. Only reason why I mention it is because it was interesting seeing this notice, the fact that their latest living story episode called No Quarter, it's being released, it's being launched, no voice acting because of the thing we can't talk about.
You almost said it.
I know, I almost said it. They can't get to the place to do the work, and so it's interesting. I mean, Guild Wars 2, I don't know if I would call it. It's like it's part of its ambiance having all the voices. I mean, it does help, but this one's going to be pushed out with no voice acting. So I'm not playing Guild Wars 2, so I won't notice it. Any of you guys want to comment on this at all?
Just
I
another.
don't.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know why they can't work on voice acting from home. I
I
know
know.
several voice actors
Yep,
that voice act from their own studios at home.
I know. Me
Most
too.
voice actors have a studio in their home,
Yep.
even if it's just their bathroom or their closet with a bunch of soundproofing put
Right.
up on the walls. I just watched this morning Metallica doing a Zoom meeting, doing a song together. So, and it sounded great.
Metallica
Uh,
on a Zoom
yeah,
call. Wow.
yeah. So it's like they could have done it, but
Yeah, could be.
I'm
Maybe it's another
glad that
excuse.
the fact that they're putting new content out for a game that was supposed to be in maintenance mode. 2 thumbs up for me, dude.
Well, I mean, Guild Wars 2 is talking about their latest expansion coming out at some point, so
Yep. Yep.
they no longer are in at least maintenance mode. All right, we're done with our escort quest. We got you there safely. Hope you guys got a chance to see the sights along the way. Because after all, escort quest, you're just kind of following. You could go faster than they do, and you're like, oh, dude, please speed up. You're so slow in walking, but we try to get there. All right, delivery quest. This is where you place your order. Order has arrived. We're gonna go to Sir Jaziel. What notes do you have that are things you want to talk about?
Most of it was already in the notes today. The only thing that I believe we didn't get on the notes today is a very now we're going even older than World of Warcraft. We're going 21 years ago. EverQuest was released.
Oh yeah.
Q2 EverQuest 1,
Just the first EverQuest.
1999. Wow.
Yeah, it's whoo, boy, and I thought again, I was very mistaken. I thought that this game was pretty much in maintenance mode after it went to Daybreak Studios and it got traded around and a bunch of people left and there's even people that used to be on EverQuest apparently working on New World. Interesting. It's really weird to find out they are still going. They have an expansion coming out called Torment of Velios. Or actually, it's out now. It's out now.
Okay.
Which is revisiting. Hold on now. Was that their third expansion? The Scars of Velios, I believe, was their third expansion. So it's revisiting that content, and I checked it out just for giggles, and I used to play EverQuest from '99 till 2004. And I enjoyed it back then, but again, talk about graphics. Holy cow, they're horrible. I was hoping that after 21 years that maybe they did something, and nope. The graphics are still pretty awful.
I think that's part of their allure now, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I
that's a good
can
point.
say it is still hardcore, man. You've got to have a group to do things, and there seemed to be when I went in there were an awful lot of people playing the game. I was shocked. But I saw on YouTube, I looked it up just out of curiosity. I thought, man, if they're still running, they must have some kind of dev blog or something. And there is a EverQuest show on there that this guy is doing that is on episode 6 at this point, talking about all the stuff that they're doing to
Wow.
revive the game, and they're working hard on making new content. And I am, like I said, 21 years, and they're still putting out for it. Again, I doubt that any of you guys and gals that are working on the game are watching our little podcast here. But if you are, congratulations on 21 years. I left in 2004, but you guys kept going, and God bless you, man.
Yeah.
They're also doing a server merge for that game too, though.
Yeah.
They are doing server merges, and they're also doing brand new progression servers on the 27th, I believe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oops, my phone just updated. Sorry about that. Everyone knows I'm on AT&T now.
I mean, EQ2 came out. I think I did try EQ1 just because. And like being a Dark Age of Camelot guy, going into WoW, I'm like, this was just so old school. I'm like, no, not doing it. I think I did buy EQ2, same thing, but I never really got into EverQuest, even though I know it's the original. I know that when I played Camelot, all of the words, everything I learned was based around what EQ did.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of the common speak, I will say, the common MMO speak that we all utilize on a daily basis now came from those EverQuest days of trying to shorten it up, because back then we didn't have Discord for one. We didn't even have Ventrilo. We didn't have TeamSpeak.
It was all
We-
typing.
Mumble.
We didn't have Mumble, but we did. I believe in 2000, we had Roger Wilco was an app that you could download on your
But no
computer
one-
to talk to
I didn't
people.
use it. Yeah.
Yeah, and like nobody used it. Everybody still typed. And
Bandwidth.
I got to tell you, I took typing in high school. That tells you how long ago that was. Actually, I
Me
had
too.
typing classes back then. Yeah. I think I was the last generation to have typing classes in school, but I learned how to type better, more accurately, and faster by playing World of Warcraft. No, EverQuest.
Yes, World of Warcraft.
And World of Warcraft too. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it's true.
Heresy.
And we have our own version of shorthand, and that's how all that came out. Is because you would be typing and typing and typing, and you needed to find a way to shorthand what you were saying, and that's
Right.
where all that came out of. So it's there are a lot of great things that came out of that horrible looking but fun game. But the one thing memory that instantly came back to me, and I went, oh gosh, I remember when questing was like this, because I just played it yesterday. I got back on there and got my cleric out. And I had forgotten that the way you quest is you had to go up to specific NPCs and you would hail them, and then they would give a message, and they'd have a little bracketed word, and you would take that bracketed word and you go, it'd say something about seashells, and you type
Right.
in what seashells, and then they would answer back, and then you would continue until you got whatever quest that was. And I also forgot that if you logged out of the game in the middle of a quest, you would have to start completely over when you got back on. So it's now uninstalled, and I'm back to ESO.
So Yoshi does ask a question. He goes, "It looks like there's a community mod of the game with upscaled graphics." I'm on EverQuest. Okay,
For EverQuest, yes, there is. That's true.
there is. Okay.
Yes.
He was asking he's calling EverQuest HD. I'm like, what do you? I mean, it must be that hard. That must be that.
That's been around a
rogue server?
while. I never played on that, but it's been around a while, and I had actually forgotten about it until you just mentioned it.
Is it like a rogue server or something, or?
It sounds like it. A mod of the game, at least.
Yeah, it's a rogue server.
I see.
All right, Solomon. What notes do you
Private.
have? What do you want to tell us that we didn't cover? Any other stuff?
Ugh, there's so much news this week. Where do I begin? I mean, they're all pretty. They're not really anything worth mentioning, other than the fact. Well, the one game that I probably spent a lot of time covering, probably too much time covering, is Ember Sword. And this game is actually
not Bitcoin, but what's it called?
cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And this game has actually been in development for a while, apparently, but I didn't know about it until I actually covered it. And I think it's super interesting, just because they use cryptocurrency called Pixel to trade items. And what was the technical term they used? Like some WRP 157 or something, like some category of a particular cryptocurrency system that sounds super complicated, but I did post a video that it kind of explained it pretty well.
Yep.
And after watching, I'm like, wow, this could be really interesting, like, because I don't know, maybe I'm going into conspiracy theories or the whole New World Order BS, but like I think cryptocurrency could potentially be the future, and I don't want to get left behind. So maybe if I play this game, I can learn a bit more of how it works, because it's like, what more fun way to learn about something you don't understand if there's a game about it. So that, I mean, again, this is technically old news, but it's new news to me just because I never heard of it, and I think a lot of people actually haven't heard of it.
So you mentioned it.
Yeah, and it's super interesting. Again, they got almost they had $700,000 in seed funding by a venture capital group called Venture Games or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm kind of turned off by the whole aesthetics of the game, because it's I don't know if you could get more cartoony than WoW, but this game looks more cartoony than WoW without going into the whole voxel territory and aesthetics. So I'm not too thrilled about that, and I'm not really thrilled about the whole isometric camera angle too. But because it's so interesting, because it's so out of the ordinary, that's what makes me want to play this game. And really quick, there are people who are saying that this could probably alleviate the whole MMO what do you call it? MMOs are kind of known for, or one of the reasons why people argue that MMOs are on the downhill is because of the shady monetization and tactics that they use and a lot of gotcha mechanics, which is a valid argument. I can't argue against it. This system that they have is either going to help the MMO genre in the right direction or in the wrong direction. And I have actually read some articles saying that this could potentially actually will go in the wrong direction, and they gave their opinion why. I didn't really look into it, but that opinion is pretty prevalent out there in the MMO space. So take it for what you will. I still think it's super interesting, and I think I don't want my fears or the negativity of other people's opinions to affect what I play. And again, maybe you spend $10, $5, whatever. At least you got to experience it and be like, okay, so yeah.
What's the name again?
Well, Ember Sword.
Ember Sword. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, Sergio.
That's a fair assessment, but I would argue that it's not just MMOs that are driving people away. I just had that experience. I told you guys about my experience with Battlefront 1 and 2, where I literally spent Battlefront 2. I literally spent $200 on the game and didn't have what I needed to be to have everything. Nowhere close. Of course, that's EA, and everyone's going to point at me and say, "Ha ha ha! You should have known better." And you're right. You're right. I should have known better. It's EA. But all of them are doing it. Origin's doing it. Call of Duty, Battlefield. They're all, even Fortnite. My son spends a ton of money on that game. They're all nickel and diming you to death. They're getting as bad. I don't know if it's bad, but they're getting close. They're going in the direction of mobile games, and it's really scary.
Yeah, sucks.
It's not just MMOs, though. I would say there's a lot of, even the FPS games are terrible with that.
The thing is, though, is that we as MMOers, we are willing to pay a basic box price and sub.
We are. Absolutely.
And that's why for me at times when I think about a free to play game and they have ways you can buy stuff, the treatment I would do if I'm paying money for it would be thinking about the budget I would do for a new game and a sub. That's it. I didn't pay anything. I bought the basic game for Battlefront 1 and 2. Didn't buy any of the stuff. Yeah, I heard about the problems, okay? But no, I enjoyed the game. But if I ever chose to buy something, I would have based it around, okay, if I was paying $15 for a sub, $15 to EA to do this one thing. So be it.
And again, I'm going to reiterate some things that we said before, that there are MMOs that do it absolutely right. Guild Wars 2, for better or worse, whether you like it or not, you have to admit the way that they make their profit, it's fair. It is absolutely fair. They don't have any pay to win mechanics in the shop whatsoever. It's all stuff that's completely optional, but it does help you out as far as more bank space, more backpack space. You can purchase transmog stuff, which lots of people do in that game. You can purchase things that help you with your crafting and gathering, harvesting, whatever you want to call it, things like that. But there aren't anything that's ridiculously priced, as well as there isn't anything that's going to give you an edge with winning in PvP, which isn't really a lot of people, I guess, do PvP on there. Not as many as PvE, but it's very fair, and it's easy to say, well, if I was playing World of Warcraft or ESO Plus, because you can play ESO with or without the thing. if you said, okay, well, I'm going to pay $15 a month for those. Well, in Guild Wars 2, I'm not paying that. So, my limit is, like Kenneth just said, my limit. So I'm going to give myself an allowance of $15 a month and spend it on transmogs or extra bank space or whatever. And
Yeah.
you feel like, yeah, I'm I want to support this company because they're not forcing me to pay
Right.
to win, and they're not
Right.
forcing me to pay to have an advantage. They're just like, hey, if you want to have more bag space so you can carry more stuff, or you want to have that really cool looking transmog, it's here. If you don't, then
Right.
it's okay. We're cool with it. And they survive off of people, saying, hey, I want to support this company by purchasing these optional items. So I absolutely think they're done right, and I actually think how Elder Scrolls Online does it is pretty fair. I mean, you get ESO Plus, it gives you unlimited uh, materials bank. It expands your backpack space. That's not what it's called in the game, but and it gives you, like, you get a certain amount of gems per month that you can spend on DLCs, or you can spend on transmogs or on mounts or pets or whatever, housing stuff, because housing's real big in that game as well. I don't mess with it, but whatever. And I think, again, you don't have to, but if you do, they give you just the right amount of rewards for helping the company out and helping to keep the servers live and helping the
Yeah.
devs to afford all that Mountain Dew and Doritos.
Yeah. All right, Solomon, do you have any other notes you wanted to share with us?
No, that's about it.
No, I appreciate it, guys. Both those I would not have thought about putting in today's show. So thank you so much for doing that.
Yep.
All right, we've made the deliveries. We're now ready to do storyline quests, because after all, when you jump into the game, you gotta do dailies, you gotta do deliveries. Let's now do storyline quests. Now, this is where we just more of a opinion type thing. MMORPG.com had an interesting article, okay, about MMOs being less social. They talked about Mike Morhaime, who used to run Blizzard, not anymore, talking about the decline of traditional MMOs. One of his quotes was, World of Warcraft evolved over the years. It actually kind of became less social because, in an effort to achieve more accessibility, we removed some of the reasons why you need to play the game with the same group of people over and over. True. New World, talked about it earlier, their quote, new social dynamism. Dynamism. Is that really a word? Okay, well, anyway.
I had trouble saying that word too. I did like 10 different takes.
Dynamism. It's like. And so even the author himself made a comment, unless I'm playing with my established group of friends, I don't feel the need to push to be social in any MMO I play. My question for you guys, start with Solomon first, okay? Are MMOs becoming less social?
This question.
Is his character fishing in the background by himself?
Yep, of course he is.
So obviously no. No. Oh my goodness, how do I answer this? I lean towards the more yes, only because the way the trend's going, you see a lot of MMOs that, or I say MMOs in quotes, on mobile platforms, and again, I wouldn't call those MMOs because they're not massively, but they say that they're MMOs, but you don't really interact with a whole lot of people, and in the mobile market, especially in China, and South Korea is guilty of this too, and I'm using colorful words like guilty because I'm not really a big fan of the mobile platform, so forgive me for that. But it's just like that's where the trend is going, unfortunately, in those particular areas, and the rest of the world seems to be following suit more or less. If you look in the European and the American markets as well, and a lot of companies are trying to cash in on that. I think it's pretty obvious, especially don't you guys have phones? Remember that? So, and then on top of that, MMOs in general, yeah, it's just like, one of the games that I still play is Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I did an entire episode on this. Star Wars: The Old Republic in 2020, is it worth playing? And one of the things that is either going to be a plus for you or a minus for you is if you want to play the game by yourself. And in that game, unfortunately, you can play the entirety of the game, of the main storyline, without grouping up with a single person, even on the dungeons, because they give you this droid, this completely overpowered droid that heals and tanks and DPSs all at the same time to help you get through a dungeon or an operation, or not operation, a flashpoint in their case, that usually requires a group of 4 people to get through. And so and that might be anecdotal, but I would argue that there's a lot of other games out there that kind of cater towards that sort of the demographic, because it's easy, because it's, it's like, if you have to worry about content and make sure that everybody's balanced and then make sure, everything's fair, it's just like, it's so much easier to do just to make content for people who just want to solo everything, at least in my opinion. Like, I can't definitively say that because I'm not a programmer, I'm not a game developer by any means, but I just imagine that would be the case. And third of all, I think the trends of the way things have been going so far, in terms of the popularity of different genres and how they fluctuate, generally go towards more social games, but more in a competitive sort of environment. So obviously you got battle royales, you got MOBA games, like League of Legends. You also have Call of Duty with their, first-person shooters. And so, in a sense, they've become more social, but not in the traditional sense that you and I might be thinking, in an MMO sense, where we have to come together as a group to accomplish a task as a team rather than like fighting each other. So the whole social part is a two-way thing that you can look at it, but judging from the article that you mentioned, the way it reads is only coming at it in a sense that of, coming together as a team to accomplish a task, that otherwise would be impossible. In that sort of sense, yeah, I think you don't really see a whole lot of that, unfortunately. Now, there are games that does try to do that, and I think Destiny 2 is a prime example that fits that narrative, that isn't necessarily an MMO at the same time, but, still with, for all intents and purposes, is still an MMO like game,
Right.
Maybe a subgenre of an MMO. So it's a mixed bag. It's definitely a mixed bag. It's really hard to really quantify everything, just because it's just such a huge gaming world out there, and you could use a lot of anecdotal evidence. But with that being said, I still lean towards more, yes, it's become less social, more so than the no, but it's not a black and white answer.
That's a very good, well said, because I was thinking about your whole discussion. I'm thinking about when I first played Dr. J. Camelot, I wrote down people's names. You had to group. You had to. I remember a couple years in, hearing the story about someone who soloed the whole game. And we're like, holy crap, how's that possible? Okay. How can you solo this game? You have to be in a group. Playing World of Warcraft, same thing. Going back to WoW Classic, it was a reminder of how much it was a grind and harder, and you died so often because you couldn't solo the game. And then you mentioned other things like PUBG or Fortnite, where I only want to play with people I know. I literally will not join those games if I had to join a PUG. What got me about Final Fantasy 14 was that it also requires you to get into a PUG. Now, mind you, that's good from a social point of view, but I didn't like that. And so right now, Fallout 76, retrying it, I'm in the game. I get a little message from someone inviting me to their group. I'm like, nope. So I'm guilty of liking the fact that MMOs have gotten less social, but the reason why I play MMOs is because I want to be social. So, Jazia, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I agree with both of you, and especially what Solomon said. It's very complicated with multiple onion full of layers. It's just a beautiful mesh of different cogs in there, where I would be a hypocrite if I put myself on either side, whether it's good or bad. Now, just to answer the first question before I go into that, do I think that games are losing that social aspect?
MMOs, yeah.
Our MMOs specifically are losing that. Yes,
Less social.
absolutely. And I would listen to Mike Morhaime. He's been around since when they first even uttered the thought of making World of Warcraft into an MMO way back when I was playing Meridian 59 before EverQuest was even a huge deal. So this is way back. He's been around, and I would definitely listen to him. I read that article, and he's right. He's right. And there's a lot of people out there that have been working on games, which I don't know if they're ever going to come out, but Pantheon is one of them that's been worked on for, I feel like it's been a decade now. I don't know, but it feels like it. That was supposed to harken back to those old days of,
Right.
if you want to play this game, you group. You either find a group of friends or you make a group of friends. You are not going to survive this world in this game without it. And a lot of people were really wanting that to happen. But at the same time, because I even am one of them that loves group, I love raiding, I love doing dungeons, things that if you want to do the current ones, the current content, you need a group for. And I'm like you, Kenneth, and I don't want a pug. I want to group with friends. I want to group with people that I can hop on here on a Discord or in-game chat if it's available on the game that we're playing, and chat with my friends and have a good time and joke and make fun of each other and all that other stuff that we do, and have that social experience. It's something that I've, mentioned why, when people ask me why do I stream on Twitch, well, the reason I stream on Twitch is it's a replacement for the good old days back when I used to come home from work and sit on my couch, and I would call all my buddies up on the phone that used to be plugged into a slot on the wall. You kids remember that? And I would call my buddies up, Steve and Jim and Drew and Doug and all them guys, and I'd be like, "Hey, it's on. I got the PlayStation going, or the Nintendo, or whatever, or the Xbox, the original Xbox," and they would all bring their chips and sodas and cupcakes and all those other things that gave us these tummies, and
Miss those
they'd
days.
all come over and sit on the floor. We'd have a group of 8, 9, 10 of us guys, smelling like gym socks in my living room, playing video games till 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, Twitch, or not even being on Twitch, just being on here with these lovely gentlemen here, or with a bunch of other people that in a guild of a game that we're playing. That's a replacement for that. Instead of coming over to my house and stinking my living room up, which smells beautiful right now because I got Glade plugins. I don't have to smell like gym socks in here now. I can smell nice, and I can still play with my friends online. And so that's what I want to do when I play an MMO. Is I would prefer to be doing activities with my friends, but here's the but, and this is why I'm going to say I'm a hypocrite. There are lots of days where I get on and I would like to just quest by myself.
That's okay though. That's okay, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's okay. That's the nice thing about the games be able to do both.
Right. And so what Mike Morhaime said is absolutely true. And I find myself falling in both categories and not being able to champion one or the other, because there are those moments where I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I can choose. ESO is the perfect game, the example of that, I think, of all the MMOs, that there is lots of content in there that you can do with friends, but there's just as much content you can do completely solo if you choose. If that's, maybe your friends have all gone to bed and you woke up in the middle of the night and you just want to do a quest, you can do that.
Yeah. I know Solomon mentioned SWTOR. I remember SWTOR at one point went to be, one of their expansions went to be totally looking like it was like just an RPG. You can solo it. Never had to get grouped up again.
And almost then, a single player.
Yeah, almost a single player, to the point where they actually then went backwards again. But they're trying to balance it out. I mean, Mike Morhaime's right in the fact that because they made it more accessible, they made it less social. But that's also a good thing. Like I said, I think overall for us who are the people who play MMOs, who love the social aspects of MMOs, we like that it is a balance where we can actually jump in, just play around ourselves with nobody else. We need to break. Just want to chill out and just listen to a song or a video and just grind. And there are times you want to jump in with friends.
And I think that's where the MMOs need to go, is they need to find that balance where you know what, you can cater to both groups. I've seen it work. Like I said, it works great in Elder Scrolls Online. I've heard it works pretty good with BDO. I'm not sure. We'd have to ask Solomon.
Depends who you're asking.
It depends on who you're asking, right? There's some people have a horrible time with the game, like myself. But you know that I think finding that balance of you offering just as much content for either group, I think it can be accomplished, and there's ways to do it. Like I mean, Star Wars Galaxies. Oh my gosh, I just mentioned Galaxies,
Yes,
guys.
WG. There are rogue servers for that.
Wow.
Dude, their rogue servers popping right now.
They are too.
Yeah.
I had a character that was just a dancer and was making money. It was great. Not even kidding, guys. Not even kidding. You know, the Old Republic is the thing that's great about that is, like you said, you can hire that and you can solo it. But if you want that socialization back, you can absolutely. There's nothing stopping you from calling up Kenneth and Solomon and Serge Azil and saying, "Hey, I need some help with this dungeon, and I just want to hang out with you guys.
Yep.
You guys available Friday night at 9?" And we're like, "Yeah, of course." And we hop on and we play together. And I love that we're going in that direction, that we can have it both ways.
Right. Yeah. Great discussion, guys. That was wonderful. You helped me out a lot. Thank you. All right, we are near the end of the show. Don't forget, we do plan a New World launch party. I know it's months away, August 25th, but put it on your calendar now. If you haven't, join us for the launch of it. We're going to be streaming it before it launches and then playing it for, who knows, next couple of days. Get out all your Monster Energy drinks, your Mountain Dew, and get ready to sit down and, you know, make sure you have
stream.
make sure you have that the potty pot close by. Okay. Anyways. All right. Thanks for everybody for joining us. Where can we find you, and what MMO are you playing, Solomon?
Ditto. No. Sorry. Inside joke. Inside joke. Well, you guys will notice that I've done a brand change, and long story short, YouTube algorithms don't like alcoholic beverages, so it's now coffee and RPGs. Not too thrilled. Yeah, there you go, Sir Chelsea. Not too thrilled with the change personally. I mean, I'm thrilled enough, but I just like my old brand better, like way much better. But you know, again, I'm not gonna be one of those whiny, you know, people on the internet that complains why they can't do something. It's just like, well, then make your own YouTube platform and then do it. You know what I mean? It's just like, you just gotta play by the rules, and I accepted that. So, so you can find me on YouTube on Coffee and RPGs. I post almost daily now, with the latest MMO and RPG news. Yeah, you could also find me here on Twitch on Solomon_SK as well. And yeah, it's been one heck of a ride, but I've been enjoying it. So
yeah, I mean, I get it, because when I was on SRG, we had a show, like a 4-person interview kind of panel type show, and we wanted to call it On the Rocks. You know, solid rock gamers. We want to call it On the Rocks. And the guy who was leading the SRG at the time says that might come across as being too much like a drink on the rocks, and we have people who might be alcoholics or former alcoholics, and that might be an issue. Right. So we called it On the Rock instead, because rock being the rock of Christ, you know, and so it's fine. I get it. That's why. So if YouTube is trying to do the algorithm, the only downside with it is that, yes, we understand people have that propensity to alcoholism, but you can't, by doing that, you wiped out everybody else who does not. You know, so sometimes catering to a smaller class, you know, just it can be a problem. Anyways, that's my soapbox. So Jazil, where can we find you, and what MMO are you playing?
I'm at Serge Azil, all one word, pretty much everywhere, but the only places I really pay attention to are Discord, Twitter, and Twitch. I do have Instagram and all that, but I don't really use them. I use them to look at other people's posts. So if you guys post something, I'll see it. But I am on TikTok now, but I'm not really enjoying it. It's not my thing. I feel like I am on Mars or something. It's a strange world.
Insert OK Boomer meme here.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not.
if you use it enough, it finally starts seeing what you want, and it will stop showing you
I-
girls dancing. Okay, it'll actually get to the
I-
point of actually showing.
That is
something
true.
different, okay?
That is true. I've stopped
true.
getting those a while ago.
That's
Yeah.
happened to me. Okay,
I-
so
I
I mean, I used to
noticed-
hate TikTok for that reason.
I noticed I've been hearting the ones that I
See, I got this one.
really
6
like.
reasons to trust God. Now that's my first one pops up.
Wait,
So,
Dad,
I mean,
stop.
over time-
Stop.
Oh,
Dad,
gosh,
stop.
man,
That
I
might
love
be
that song.
copyrighted music.
It's definitely copyrighted. They made a movie after it.
Thanks,
for
Dad.
copyright.
More editing for me. Thanks a lot.
That's a great movie,
No,
by the way. If
A
you
little
haven't seen
clip
it.
is not gonna. I know I've seen it. It's a great movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, so except for Discord, the 3 T's, Twitter, Twitch, and TikTok, and the Discord. So I should
Oh,
change
there
the
you go.
name.
That's a 4 thing now, though. We want to keep it
Yeah.
3.
We should stop calling it Discord. Call it a Tiscord. So the
Discord.
Discord, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Um,
So, anyways,
but-
sorry.
Yeah, that's me. And then I'm just right now.
That's right.
I'm- the alpha test that we're not technically supposed to say, but the devs don't seem to care. But I'll just be nice and not say what it is. But I'm alpha testing a game that is coming out later this year, and it's really awesome. But I'm mainly playing Elder Scrolls Online right now. I am going and like playing another game for like a couple of hours, like I did EverQuest, just to see what's going on. I did that with Guild Wars 2 this week, which I actually enjoyed. But yeah, mainly Elder Scrolls Online. If you want to catch me on there, that's pretty much my game until that game New World comes out.
All right. So I'm Kennethan. You can find me, places called Kennethan. On Twitter, it's Kennethan Live. I actually created an alt account on my Discord today because I realized I hit 100 Discord follow. I followed 100 Discord channels, and there's a limit to how many you can follow. So I created an alt, Kennethan
Oh.
Live. Anyways, so also, I mean, Twitter, Twitch, Twitter is Kennethan Live, Twitch is Kennethan. I do have TikTok also. Anyway, so yeah, I mainly been playing Elder Scrolls Online, but I've also been playing that alpha game that I suppose we can say, okay, but it's from a company that delivers products to my house all the time.
Yeah.
And every Tuesday at times, if my friend Not Fred's is available, we play Champions Online. And I have been trying Fallout 76 just to see if it's still worth it. I love my son. He made a YouTube channel he watched, said Wastelanders is a great game. Fallout 76 will never be a great game. Like, yeah, I mean, I jumped into it. NPCs are great. I'm looking. Nobody of my friends are playing it, so I'm like, I'll just play it solo. I'll go in, do some quests, build up my thing, and have some fun with it. But I don't know if I'll spend more time with it. Anyways, that's what I'm doing. That's where I'm at. Thank you, everyone, for being here, for watching this episode. We'll see you next time on another Saturday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And maybe we will have the name change to the Trinity MMO show. But yeah, there you go.